Hello, I'm Trey and welcome to another of my colouring tutorials. In this tutorial I'm going to be doing a gradients of hair colour going from purples to pinks. So I thought it would look quite interesting with this bold purple skin. Now if you're interested in how I did that skin, I've put links to the other tutorials in the description, as I've done a tutorial on how I did this skin. I'm working on a design by Karron, and my project is from Woodland's Fairies Special by Colour in Heaven. However, she does have her own books. I'll be working with Prisma Color Pencils again, as I did with the purple skin. So we'll see how this works out. Now I'm using Prisma Color pencils with this, but you don't have to use the same pencils. Just have some similar colours. Now the first three colours I'm going to be working with: dark purple, medium purple, and a pale pinky lilac. And I'm going to be doing the top of the hair coming down to midway in these colours. Now the first thing I'm going to try and do is add in my highlights. And also I started off this project with a colour direction coming from light source top left. So I'm going to try to also bring that kind of shading in. Not sure how it'll work, but I'm going to have a go. So on this side would be brighter than this side. So I'm going to start on this side just to add in some highlights where I think the light will catch, and also following the flow of the hair. I'm trying to highlight where the hair kinks upwards. So I'll just put in where I think those sections are on this side. And also with these colours, I'm going to be doing the tips of the hair in the lighter colours. So I'm going to use the lilac at the ends. So that probably may need adjusting, but we'll leave it for now. Now I'm going to work on this side. Well, this side is going to be lighter, but these colours I'm working out here are only going to be going so far, because once I get into the plait, I'm going to be changing the colours. So I'll use the lilacs and the purples first on the top half, and the ends. Now I'm going to use the medium lilac purple, which is actually, this one's called violet, and I'm going to put some shading in now and start on this side because it might be easier to do because this is supposed to be darker on this side because of the light source. I'm just going to darken in where I feel there would be some shadow. Now with this section here, I think I'll need to extend the lighter lilac, which I'll put in now. So if I need to extend the other colour, I'll do it as I'm going along. Oh, here I put the darker colour underneath because there's layers of hair. There's creases in between which will be underneath, like folds of hair. And I'm now going to put some darker sections on the other side as the hair is moving away. There's actually some lines there to help with that. So now I'm going to move down this side of the face with the hair and put in where I feel the darker sections would be, the shadow. So that side's done with the medium purple. Now I'm going to do this side. And again, only so far because I'll be changing the colour of the hair at this point. So I'm going to do the same as I did on this side. Anything that's underneath, I will put shadow in. Anything that I feel is folded or bent inwards, away from the light, I'll put shadow in. And if I feel I need to extend the lighter as I'm going along, I'll do it at the same time. So all this area here would be in shadow because the berries would cause a shadow. So it would be darker inside there and get lighter as you come out of that area. It's all about adjusting as I go along. If I feel I needed more light, I've put more light in this side than I first started with. So it's just kind of adjusting, looking to see what's overlapping and taking into account your light source. So now I'm going to be using the darkest purple for the top area. I'm going to start on this side because it's easiest, because it's the darker side. And also as I'm going along, I'm overlapping other colours. So the medium purple overlapped into the lighter lilac. So this darker purple will overlap into the medium. Now the underneath bit, I've originally covered all of those in the medium lilac. I'm now extending the shadow, so I'll be going over parts of those sections with this dark purple. Now I'm going to do this side, and I'll be using the darker purple less so on this side because I want this to be lighter. So it'd be just underneath where I think the darkest sections will be, again overlapping the medium purple, and at the roots. So all this area here would be darker because it's covered over. So I'll put a bit more darker in here. So that's the first 3 layers for the lilac colours. Now I'm going to be working on the pinky colours, and the pinky colours are going to be coming in on this side where the plait starts. So first I'm going to put in highlights. The lightest pink I'm going to be using. And I'll be overlapping into the lilac colour I used earlier. And with this being a plait, the middle sections of the plait where it folds upwards is the lighter sections. So I'm going to be doing quite a bit of that, emphasising with this section of the hair. I'm going to be doing the medium pink now, and I'm going to start in the shaded areas for the plait. So where it folds in on both edges, that's where the shading goes for a plait. And I'll also extend the lighter section if I need to as I'm going along. Now, as the hair comes down here, it's going back into a shadow away from the light. So I'm going to a little bit more as a highlight first on those sections, because I still want to try and have the effect of the plait. And then I'm going to go over some of that highlight with the medium pink to make it a bit darker than the other plaits further up. Let's see if that works with the light source. Well, now I'll go to the darker sections with my dark pink. It's a mulberry pink, and I'll put in the darker sections, and I'll be overlapping the medium pink and also overlapping the light lilac from the previous colour at this section at the top. Now as the plaits move away from the light and bend this way, I'll put more of this dark pink in. Now that's the first layers of the pinky sections, and so I've got 3 layers, 3 colours for the top and 3 for the bottom. You need a lot more layers on this, but you can already see the interesting effect going from the purples and then going into the pinks. I'm overlapping each of these colours for each section to highlight the shadow and the light, to try and make an interesting gradient, smooth gradient. I'm going to do more layers for this off camera and then come back to this. Now I'll put down 3 more layers of each of the colours I use. So that's 3 of the darkest, 3 of all the purples of each layer and 3 of all the pinks. And then I decided to try do a bit of blending. For this time I decided to use baby oil, and I'm using paper stubs because there won't be as much stuff can get on, oil can get on these. And I've done this part up to the plait, and it's worked quite well. You can see how patchy it is before the blend, and then it gets smoother. I still dab off when I do use these with the baby oil, and I work from the darkest colours inwards. It does push colours together, and I'll lose some of my shading, so it's just to smooth it out a little bit. I'll wipe some of that off because I'm going to shade in now the paler pink sections and blend in with the oil, sorry. I'll get some of that colour off. I'm liking the effect of going from the lilac purples into the pinks. It's worked really nice, that much better than I was expecting, to be honest. So it looks kind of funky, and it works in really well with that blue skin. I'm just going to put a little bit more colour down, and working on the lilacs first because I did the baby oil blending on this section first. I'm kind of hoping that once it was dry it'll allow me to put more down and see how this works. Well, that's worked quite well, and I've normally struggled to get more pigment down after I use baby oil, but it could be because these pencils have got a lot of pigment in the Prisma colours. So I'll see how it works with the pink. I'm going to use a medium pink first, go over those areas. I'm just using light pressure on this as well. And the paper does feel a little bit more slippy, but there's still some pigment going down. Now I'll try the palest pink. There's less pale pink in these bottom plats than there was at the top because of the light source. And now I'm going to try and do another blend with the baby oil and see what happens with that. Start in the darker areas. I've never tried to put baby oil down twice. And this seems to be working quite well, and I think it's because with these paper stubs I can't put a lot of oil actually on the stub. Whereas if I use a cotton bud, I can get a lot more oil on that, and it tends to soak it more. So I think this is going to be work really well with these paper buds, so paper stubs. So I'm going to finish off the blending off camera and come back to this. Now I did another blend with the baby oil. Again, the paper stub didn't have a lot on, so I was able to get away with that. And then I went in and just with the darkest purple, I did the highlights for the shading again, and the darkest pink, because that had blended out a bit. And it's worked really well. I'm really pleased with it, and I think I'll remember that. It's a good trick to remember, to use paper stubs with baby oil. It doesn't put as much down and enables me to use it twice and do a couple of blends, which is what I like to do. I really like how the hair has gone from the purples to the pinks, how that worked. It makes it look really interesting. It complements the blue skin really well. So there's a couple of experiments on this tutorial today, and I'm really pleased it worked. So I hope anybody that's watched this has found this useful. Got any hints and tips? Maybe you'd like to try it yourself, let me know how that works. So any comments, any feedback, I'd love to read it. And I'll say bye for now, and I'll see you in a future tutorial.